Hello, 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 family. This is your girl Alexis, and I'm back today with a word. I really couldn't wait. A lot of times I'll be getting these downloads or just these bursts of the Holy Spirit just filling me up. And a lot of times I'll, marinate on it and when it's time for me to release it, I may, forget or, things start to happen, right? So, I just wanted to make sure today that I got out and, put the message out as God is doing something really special in this season. And I want to thank all my subscribers and everybody who's tuning in. So you guys are all appreciated. Thank you. So the message for today, God's promise and the enemy's attacks. A lot of times in this transition as I'm growing, and I've known God for a long time, I've known the Lord, but I haven't always stayed on course, or I've always allowed the enemy's attacks and certain circumstances and situations to lead me, right? Which of course hasn't led me in great places, but I've learned some great lessons, right? And thanking God for him delivering me and keeping me, right? Because I didn't have to be here today. So I'm aware that he is not done with me, and he is doing something special in this season. And as I'm taking this transition and I'm growing with God, and I've made a dedication to, I've surrendered my life and, surrendered my children, all of my circumstances. Things have been happening, and it is so, I'm finally understanding that it's so necessary to stay connected with God. Like, this is like, it's like food, you gotta eat. It's like water, it keeps you alive, it nourishes you. It'll protect you, it will guide you, it will lead you, it will allow you to, man. So as I've been taking this journey, and it's been challenging, but it feels a lot better than it's ever felt before, as I'm actually really doing the work. And enough is enough. I'm no longer allowing the enemy to be in control of my life. So I'll just give you a couple examples of some attacks that I've experienced. And my God, had I not known what I know now, or have he not filled me in such a way in this season, I'd repeat the same behaviors that I've repeated in the past. So as I've taken my steps, and God's pulling on me, hey, daughter, come on, and I'm wrestling. So recently, okay, I've done a video on this as well, and it was an endurance video. I did it on Facebook, but can you stand the pain? Can you endure, right? And so one of my talents have led me to someone who wanted to invite me to church, to a service. And of course, we're in COVID, so service hasn't been a big thing as far as like coming together with people, which is something that I do at home. But this person was led to ask me to come. I came, and I ended up at a Spanish church, right? And they're speaking Spanish, and when I walked through the door, I'm like, what in the Lord, Father God, what are you doing? What is this? And my spirit, the attack, it gets heavy. I'm like, I'm leaving. I don't care what's going on. I'm it's such a battle, right? And I'm ready to go. And but I'm like, no, hey, we're gonna stick this out, because Cause no, you're not gonna fall into this, you know. And I'm talking to God, He been talking to me, right? And I've been hearing him, and I'm writing a little note to myself in my Bible on my little cue card, right? And the cue card says, you know, I'm like, Lord, talk to me, God, talk to me, God, talk to me, God, talk to me. I need you to talk to me in this moment. I need you to talk to me, God. I need you to talk to me, God. And I'm so, like, my body is just ready to run out the church, go back home. I need to put on some Sarah Jakes, TD Jakes, and, you know, do what I do, right? No. So in the midst of that, the pastor gives me a word. And in the midst of that, she says, you want me to talk to you? I'm talking to you. And my God, she's speaking Spanish. But of course, they speak Spanish and English. The pastor speaks Spanish. The children speak the English. Or, you know, the husband speaks English as well. So the word is coming through. And she's talking to me. And she's holding me and talking to me and saying, I'm talking to you. And she starts to prophesy some things over my life that I know to be true. So I'm like, wow, okay. But it's 6 members in this church. So, you know, I was confused when I first walked in. But I realized that was an attack from the enemy. He had not wanted me to get that word. He had not wanted me to get that connection, you know. And had I not filled myself up, or had I not took this thing serious, had I not, you know, separated myself from things and done the necessary things to allow myself to be sound and strong in this, I would have left out of there and ended up, you know, whatever. So we're going to move forward now. Okay. So, we give out, at my service, we're doing a coat drive, and we're doing, feeding the homeless. Right. And, last week, I go to service. I go to participate, and another attack happens. It just seems like everyone is like, I just feel an energy of like, get away from me, you know? As I don't drive at the moment, and everyone's driving, and everyone gets in their car, and it looks, and I'm like, and, you know, for me, I left. You know, I did what I needed to do as far as participating to, like, help establish some things, but I didn't stay. And I broke down, and I left. And I'm talking to God, and I'm like, God, you know, what's going on? What is this? What is this? What is this? And I'm in tears. I leave the event. And it turned out to go well. Thank God. I made it home safe. Thank God. But I was like, man, you know, I start to become angry. I get really angry in a situation. I'm so frustrated because I'm saying to myself, God, why would you put me in a situation like this? Like, why would you allow me to be like this? It's cold out here, you know. It just felt really cold. And, you know, I start to get angry with the members, and I just start to, you know, feel all kinds of wrong. So I come home and I pray, and, you know, I'm just talking to God, and I'm asking for understanding, you know. Push forward. So a couple of days later, I get another phone call, and I'm in the midst of a struggle, or I'm in the midst of a need, you know. And I get a phone call, and they call and they say, hey, Alexis, how you doing? Yeah, we over here having a major feast right now, and nah, I'm just playing. I'm like, God damn, I'm in need right now. Like, wow. And of course, they're not aware of what's going on, but I am. And I'm like, wow, what is this? Like, why are these people doing this to me? You know? And man, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. You know, I'm not gonna do this anymore. You know? And man. So push forward. I have a friend of mine that, we're on this journey together, and we're growing, and we're thanking God for the things that he has done for us. We're pushing forward. We are, doing the work. We're trying to grow and understand, and, just do what it is that God has called us to do, right? In the midst of still dealing with regular life and being where we are, breaking chains with things and separating from people and situations. Some of us are in different places, like some of us are all the way in and some of us are growing in it, and so it leads to, so that friend of mine, she gets in the company of some people, and when she comes back around, I'm kind of going through it, and I'm going through it because of the situation from, from the donation day when, they were acting funny with the cars, and, I had that attack. So, so she comes the next day, and, that previous night we had a conversation about where I was in life and what I was going through, and I was like, I was. I'm hanging in there, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm believing God for some things. I know he is real. I know he loves me. But life is still happening. And as I'm, early off in these stages, every now and again, I might get caught off guard, and it might just catch the best of me, right? But not as bad as it used to be. Because, I'd be all the way done, and I'd go over there, and I'd be back to my regular shenanigans, or just whatever, so she comes over the next day, and she she's a public speaker as well as I am, and she does a video, and in her video she is talking about the same things that we were talking about the night before, but she is so angry in this video, and she is shouting, and she is like, when I tell you she's shouting, she's calling names. She's like, you wonder why your life is not going in the right direction. Because you're a hater, and you're a this, and you're a that. And I'm like, what the hell? Excuse me. What in the world? I'm being honest, that's what I said. But, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what is going on, and I'm totally bothered. So I start to become a little aware, like, hold up, right? Now move forward. So one of my children, right in the midst of that, we're bonding and we're growing closer, and, God is doing something special in this season. He's bringing my family together and making things better for us, and healing us, right? And one of my children performs an act that, woo, I'm fed up. You hear me? I am to the roof. Okay. All right, I won't go into details how I responded, but I didn't respond in the way that I used to, but I am disturbed. Okay, I'm ready to let go. And then I start to realize, I'm like, wait a minute. Right? Okay, push forward. So, so the same young lady that, did the video, and she was, coming with the personal attack that morning, later that day, God had blessed her, which she was looking to bless me. She had not realized what had happened earlier that day, but of course she was going through some personal attacks as well, right? And so God had blessed her, and she was gonna bless me, and I proceeded to try to have a conversation with her about what was going on. But before we could have the conversation, she had already been so attacked, she wasn't able to receive me. So that caused us to, like, separate. I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna do this. I shut down. Now it's time for me to go pray. It's time for me to get busy, right? And because I'm aware of what's going on, but I'm still feeling, I'm feeling, God, what is this? God, So moving forward, I start to see different things around my house. So I start to notice things that are disturbing me, that are causing me to have these thoughts that are really not of God. I start to notice something's broken or something's out of whack. So, I'm blaming one of my children, and I'm just like, what is this? I get back into my flesh, and there's division, And I say this to say that, my God, the attacks are real. You hear me? The attacks are real. So when I come back to finally have this conversation with my friend, she's like, wow, I didn't even know. Wow. Like, oh my God. The light bulb comes on, and she's able to, apologize and understand what was going on, because as we connect ourselves with God and connect ourselves with the world, the attacks happen. And especially when you're trying to fight that, when you're trying to come up out of it, but, some ties are kind of hard to cut. It takes time to really learn and understand how to separate yourself. And even when you separate yourself, you're still, attacks happen. They come about, and even, so she blesses me and we move forward and things like that. And it all comes together. But even with the conversation with, the people who called me about, hey, we're having dinner and we're all having a good time over here. No, I'm just joking. And I'm like, damn, I'm in need. I had not even been in need. I had money that I didn't even know I had. And I'm like, what? When it all comes together, I'm like, oh, Lord. The attacks are real, So I say this to say that, I wanted to give up. I wanted to remove myself from the connections. I wanted to hang it up. I'm fed up. I'm just over it all, right? I don't want to feel this. But, God is so good, I was to start a job, right? I was supposed to start a position, and I needed something to start the position, right? So I said, let me take a leap of faith. God is talking to me. He's shown me some things. He's revealed some things to me. Some things just keep showing up. And, I'm like, oh, God, look at you. What, you want that for me, So I take a leap of faith and I try to, move forward and, have this thing happen, right, that I need for this position. So the day that it's time for me to start the position, I don't have that item. So I can't start the position. God, what's going on? Then the next day, I get a phone call that now I can get that item. Hey! So now I'm like, Lord, Father, God, what is happening, right? But he's been talking to me about some things, right? He's promising me some things, but I'm stepping out. And as I'm growing and learning and trying to understand, what to do and not to do and how to operate, that thing that I tried to get it in a way that I don't think it was destined for me to get that way, right? Because that would only keep me in a place of what wasn't destined for my life, right? For this season. It's not for me. He didn't promise it to me in that way. But, they say faith is dead without works, right? So I'm like, well, let me, do something, right? So, the item is available to me, but now I need another source to get it. And that source is not on board. So I say this to say that, I began to thank God for it, and it all came together and things are moving in the right direction. But had I not had this connection with God, had I not allowed myself to endure, had I not fed myself with the word, had I not been connected to people of power who are connected with God, I would not be able to have this revelation and still be in peace and still be in thanksgiving and still be on board to be able to do what it is that he has called me to do, even when it doesn't feel comfortable, even when the attacks come about, I'm still not going to give up, And it's so necessary, it's so necessary that you stay connected, that you do the work. It's so necessary to stay in the word, because the enemy will deceive you. He will lead you astray. He will strip you. He will put you in position not to receive what it is that God has for you. As I'm still dependent on God to see me through certain things, man, oh man, has he shown up? Has he shown out for me? Has he made a way for me? I mean, man, oh man. He's amazing. He's amazing. So I say that when you're in this transition and you're growing with God, things will come about that you may not understand it, and it may feel like, what is going on? How is this happening to me? God, what are you doing? What is this? I can't deal with this. I can't take it. I don't want to do this. Why is this like this? And sometimes you question, because you know what? You're still a flesh. You're still a flesh. You're still human. So those things do happen. I know I'm not the only one that questions God, even if you've been with God for a day or 20 years, you still are within your flesh, but we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. We wrestle with spirits and principalities in dark places. And it's so necessary that we stay in the word. It's so necessary that we pray. It's so necessary that we keep ourselves up. It's so necessary that we stay in celebration, even when it doesn't feel like a celebration. Because God will open doors. He will make a way for you. He will open the doors. He will make your way straight. He will do it. He has done it. He has done it for me so many times, even when I wasn't totally on board. But I'm telling you, he has shown up and showed out in my life in so many occasions. So now in this season, I know that he will do the same again, but it's just staying on board, staying in your word, believe in God, knowing that what he has for you, it will happen. You got to stay faithful. You got to stay grounded. And then, even in the midst of what I'm going through, it's helping me to build my muscle. Because he said, believe in me, not in man, right? So I don't really need to worry about what anybody else is doing. I'll be okay. He will make a way for me. He will see that things go the way that they need to go for me. He's helping me to build up my muscle and allow me to be strong in anything that I face, and know that he is God and he is with me. So I no longer have to worry about what man is doing, or when them personal attacks come, I need to be in prayer. I need to pray. I need to pray. I need to pray. You need to pray. You need to pray. You need to stand firm. Stand firm. It's only a test. It's the enemy's attack to distract you and keep you from the will of God. And man, when I look back on my life, I could just see how many times that he was making a way for me, or how he was trying to push me in a direction. And them attacks came, and I fled. I said, this can't be God. No. God don't love me. Or I ain't about to do this. Or I became so distracted that I allowed the enemy to just take me to another place, and didn't receive my promises, didn't have healing, didn't have hope, just full of worldly things, thoughts, feelings, and lust, depression, you name it, it's been real. But anywho, I just want to encourage anybody who's in this transition, in this process, to fight the fight. Do not believe the attacks of the enemy. They will come. They will come. They will show up. It will happen. You hear me? But everything is in God's good timing. Stay in your word. Put on your music. Stay in celebration, even when it doesn't seem like it's happening. Even when it seems like nothing is happening, something is happening. You understand me? So I encourage you to stay on board, to stay focused. You can do it. You hear me? You can make it. You hear me? And bless everyone today, and I'll be back with another video.